Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm just going to wait for some people to tune in before I get started. Say hi as you come in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time, definitely comment in the box so I can say hi. And even if it's not your first time, definitely comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, Sandra on Facebook from North Carolina. Good morning, Roxanne. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Midday on Instagram. Um, I have a good topic for you guys today. Well, I always have good topics for you guys. Um, Good morning, Brandon from New York. Um, Good morning, Saga from Instagram. Good morning, Booth with the Booless. Uh, Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Daniel from Texas. Long time. Hope you're doing well. Um, okay, guys, let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney here in Florida, but I represent clients in all 50 United States with their family immigration matter, humanitarian cases, valid cases. So you can call me if you would like to schedule a consult. My number is 407-995-6567. You can also send me a WhatsApp message. Well, me meaning the firm, 404-333-8751. Good morning, Sandra. So today I just want to talk about citizenship and, becoming a U.S. citizen, and just switch gear a little bit. We talk about being a green card holder or getting your green card. But really, guys, the ultimate price, is being a U.S. citizen, Kiara, first time tuning in from Jamaica. Good morning. Good morning, Krishna from upstate New York on YouTube. So as I was saying, the price really for most of us immigrants or basically the American dream, is to become a United States citizen. Um, and being a US citizen essentially means that, you have the exact same rights as every American in this country. It means that you have the ability to vote. It means that, you have, if you so desire to be in jury duty, and you have a say. It means that if, God forbid, you get into any kind of criminal infractions, that you're not faced with the risk of deportation, whether you're falsely accused of something or not. That being said, don't go committing crimes. But what I'm saying is that, when you're an American, you get the full benefits that every other American in this country gets, and it allows you certain liberties that even green card holders don't get. So, thank you, Kiara. That's so sweet. I need to actually get them done. So I just want to talk about, being a citizen and the requirements for being a citizen. So there are two paths to citizenship: one as a 3-year green card holder, and two as a 5-year green card holder. Um, Generally, if you're married and you're currently still married, and you and your spouse have been married for 3 years and you've had your green card for 3 years, typically at that time, you're usually eligible to become a green card. I mean, not a green card, you're usually eligible to file for citizenship. Otherwise, and the other category that allows you to file for citizenship at the 3-year mark is if you received your VAWA based on you being received your green card based on you being a VAWA victim, or you received your green card based on removing your conditions based on abuse. Those categories will allow you to basically apply for citizenship at the 3-year mark. And when I say 3-year mark, I usually mean like 90 days before the 3-year mark, you can apply for citizenship. Otherwise, most other people will fall in the 5-year category. The person on Instagram asking, my WhatsApp number is 404-333-8751. And I believe it's also in my profile. So, once I get off the live, you can check my Instagram profile and you should see it on there. For those of you on Facebook, strolling through the ticker or whatever. So as I was saying, but apart from time, there's certain other requirements that need to be met in order for you to become a citizen. So one of the requirements, first of all, is that you have been a resident of wherever state or city or county you're applying from for at least 3 months. So that's the first thing. So if you were living in like Florida, and you moved to North Carolina, and that month you apply for citizenship, you will not be eligible. You have to have been living there for at least 3 months. That's one of the requirements. The second requirement is that you've been paying your taxes. You've been paying your taxes and you don't owe back taxes, and that confuses a lot of people. When I say back taxes, what I mean by that is if you owe taxes and you're in a payment plan, that's okay, as long as you're in a payment plan. And you've always been on a payment plan, as opposed to, okay, now I'm going to file for citizenship. And then now that I filed for citizenship, I'm going to stop paying my back taxes. To them, they don't consider that good moral character, because they're saying that, but for you applying for citizenship, you would not have been paying your taxes. Somebody asked me, can I call you on WhatsApp? No, you can't call me on WhatsApp. Call the 407 number to schedule a call with me. WhatsApp really is for text messages, or if you want us to give us your number for us to call you at a time that works for you and us as well. So you want to make sure that you're paying your taxes, okay? And usually the way it would work is that if you're doing the 3 year, the last 3 years, if it's 5 year, it will be the last 5 years, okay? And then the next thing is that you want to be a person of good moral character as a whole. And what does that look like? It means that you don't have what we call a crime of moral turpitude. A crime of moral turpitude is so wordy, and maybe one day I would just have Skip, you can call. Yes. You can call the 407-995-6567. Sorry guys, I'm getting sidetracked. Let me focus here. So a crime of moral turpitude, there are just so many things that I wouldn't be able to get into it in one live. But basically, when they're looking at crime of moral turpitude, there are things that USCIS considers deportable crimes. Like, so if these are crimes that you are deportable for, those crimes tend to, affect you from becoming a citizen, right? Because they don't consider you a person of good moral character. And even though they tell you it's a window of 5 years, USCIS can choose to go as far back as they want, even though, obviously you can make arguments for different things, but the most critical time is a 5 years within when you apply for citizenship. And honestly, guys, you shouldn't even be committing any crimes of moral turpitude, because if you're a green card holder, you can certainly be deported and stripped of your green card. So talk less of even getting into the citizen phase. So try your best to stay out of trouble. So that's one of the other requirements. The other requirement is that if you're filing based on being with your spouse, you need to show that you and your spouse are continuously living together in a continuous marriage. This is one of those cases where it becomes an obstacle to become a citizen. If you're saying, oh, your wife lives here, and I live in this state and my wife lives there. It's different for marriage-based green cards, where if you guys don't live together for a marriage-based green card, it's not a requirement that you must live together, but you must show that it makes logical sense why you're not living together. That doesn't apply for when you're applying for citizenship based on 3 years of marriage. With that, you really have to show continuous cohabitation with your spouse. Another requirement, and this requirement is for men. If you got your green card between the ages of 18 and 26, you want to make sure that you've registered for selective service. And for those of you who don't know what selective service means, it just means that, you register saying that if the U.S. ever needed you to bear arms for the United States, that you will do it. It's not saying that it's going to happen, but, especially back in the day when they had World War I. My Instagram keeps disappearing. Can you guys on Instagram see me? like when they had World War I, World War II, and all of that stuff, and they needed manpower. So that's essentially what it means. There's certain exceptions if you're over the age of 30, 33, or 36. I don't remember off the top of my head. But generally 18 to 26, you want to make sure that you've registered. The other biggie, or the other no-no, is that you don't want to owe back child support. So all of you guys that have like all the side arrangements, like the court gives you child support settlement, and then you have a side arrangement with your ex or whatever it is. That can come back and bite you, especially if your ex is not willing to write an affidavit saying that you're current on your child supports, and stuff like that. So whether it's you being the spouse, the female or the male, whoever owes child support, you want to make sure that you're taking care of that. If not, that would be a potential issue. And so, and the reason why I'm talking about citizenship is because this is what I always hear from a lot of people. Oh, isn't it just the N-400? It's a simple form. But guys, I am telling you, let me tell you something. And I deal with complex cases. That's basically my specialty. Citizenship, as simple as the form is, it's the most difficult type of case to get approved. Like one little mishap, because just like I told you, it's the prize for USCIS, for them to give you that citizenship, because they know that it really will ever be taken away from you. Like, you literally have to be flawless. You have to be a model citizen before you get a citizenship. So you want to take it seriously. You want to make sure that you're paying those taxes. You want to make sure that you're doing the child support. You want to make sure that you're staying out of trouble. I'm telling you guys. And then the other thing is, like, those people that are on the edge of I traveled for however X amount of months, I came back, or blah 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 blah. You want to make sure that you've been in the United States for at least 2.5 years of the 5 years prior to you applying for citizenship, because you will get denied. And you cannot go on there and say, well, I'm just going to estimate or guess my trips. You better know when you traveled. If you're a green card holder, every time you're traveling, you should be keeping a record of it. You should be keeping a record of when you leave and when you come back. You're not going to find a lot of that stuff on CBP, when you try to get your an I-94 once you're a green card holder. So you should be keeping records of it, because I have seen people get denied for like one extra day of travel, or where the client's like, well, I don't know when I traveled or when I didn't travel, stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you know when you're traveling. So those are the core requirements. And then obviously outside of that, you need to take a civics test. And basically the civics test is, the United States history. Usually there are 100 questions, unless you're over age 65. There are 100 questions, and you have to study the 100 questions. You know, Typically, obviously not 100 questions are going to come out. You have a maximum of 10 questions they're going to ask you during your interview. During your interview, once you get 6 questions correctly, they will stop asking you questions. Okay, because you would have passed. But the thing is, you don't know which one of the 100 questions that they're going to ask you. So it's always important to study all 100 questions. Personally, I find that clients retain better when they use flashcards. USCIS has easily available flashcards. Especially if you're a visual learner, the flashcards help you to remember. I know I'm a visual learner, and the flashcards help me. Sometimes I just go over the flashcards myself because it's fun, so that when I'm quizzing my clients, I can, be able to tell them if they're correct or wrong. So, get this flashcards, study the flashcards, just because you don't know what's going to come out. And especially those questions that are very difficult, like questions about the World War and, which Roosevelt, or, things like that. You want to definitely study those things, because those typically trip people off. And then you also have to do a written and a spoken test. So your written test is basically where they give you, a sentence and ask you to write a sentence. Okay. So you have to write that down. And then the other, the spoken test is that they will write a sentence and ask you to read that sentence. So you want to make sure you practice, especially if English is not your first language. If if you have a difficult time studying and memorizing things, and you think that perhaps maybe you're dyslexic or you have a learning disability, there are certain medical exceptions, but you would need to get approval from a doctor, and that would need to be submitted with your form for you to get the exception from the civics test. And then generally, if you're over a certain age, you are eligible to. So, and don't quote me on this. This always confuses me without a sheet in front of me. But between the ages of 50, so I think it's if you're 50, over 50 and 25 years, green card, or over 55. No, sorry, over 55 and 25 years of green card. See, I told you this confuses me a little bit. Or over 60, 20 years of green card, or over 65 and 25 years of green card. Like, if you fall in that category, do not quote me on this, guys, because I don't have it up. I don't have this one memorized, because the numbers are also similar. But basically, you will have an exception to the English language, meaning that you'll be allowed to bring an interpreter with you for the civics test, and you won't need to do the written portion or the spoken portion if you fall in that category. But for most people, if you're not there, obviously you're not exempt from that. So that's that on immigration, on citizenship. And then, of course, oh yeah, another thing that you want to know and find out is that if you have those, like, if you're from a country where you're either titled, like, maybe you have, like, I don't know, chieftaincy title, royalty, or whatever, you're going to have to basically let that go, to naturalize, or be willing to let that go. And then some countries do not allow dual citizenship. The United States does, but if your country is one of those, just know that you're going to have to obviously let go of that in order for you to stay a U.S. citizen. Okay, so that's that. Let me answer some of your questions. Hello, Ms. Bossy Roxy on Instagram. Okay. If you get your citizenship and your wife and kids still have green cards, how do they change their status to citizenship? Obiama, so the answer to that is that your wife has to file for her citizenship as well, just like you, if she's over the age of 18. And then for your children, it is going to depend on how old your children are, or how old your children were at the time in which you obtained your citizenship. If you obtained your citizenship, if your children were under 18, when they had their green card and when you became a citizen, they can actually derive citizenship from you, and it's actually a different process. So, if you're in that situation, you can definitely call me, and I can help you with that. Kia says, what is VAWA? VAWA is Violence Against Women's Act. It's basically a law that allows abuse victims by their U.S. citizen spouses, their green card holder spouses, their U.S. citizen or green card holder parents, or the U.S. citizen children that are over 21, to basically get a permanent 10-year green card if they've experienced extreme cruelty and abuse. And I believe I have several videos on this, so you can probably watch yesterday's video, because I talked about this yesterday, just to let you know. Armando says, I drove to Canada. Should I put that on the form too? Yes. The bottom line is just do not stay outside of the United States for more than what did I mention? For more than 2.5 years of the 5 years when you're applying. Hi, Aisha. As an immigration law, when you request W-2 from petitioner, what stage is that when petitioning for a child? Do you mean, are you talking of the I-864? I don't know what you're asking me. There are two phases where you submit a W-2 and a tax return. And that is if you're doing what we call consular processing, or if you're doing adjustment of status. If you're doing adjustment of status, you submit it at the time you submit your adjustment of status application. So at the very beginning, if you submit it, if you're doing consular processing after your I-130 is approved, that is when you will do it, when they send you to NVC. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to jump off soon. Let me just take a few more questions. Tiffany says, if someone remarries their ex and they're facing a travel ban, is this a problem for them to apply for a green card? Your question is too vague. I don't understand the question. Liz says, I will call you soon about mine. Awesome. 407-995-6567. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's all the questions that I have. I hope you guys have a lovely day. I won't be on tomorrow. But I'll probably have like a rebroadcast, or maybe talk about vows, and some of you are asking about vows tomorrow. But normally I usually try to come on between 9 to 10 a.m. Or 8 to 9, 8 to 10. So the best thing is to subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified when I go on live. And hit the notification button on Instagram and Facebook so you can get it. And then follow me and share my video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.